Hey, Michael!
Good morning, Dr. Engel, audience, and distinguished members of the staff and class of 2008. Before I began writing this speech, I was informed by a number of students that it was extremely important for me to make this speech hilarious, as would be crucial for ensuring a sleep-free graduation ceremony. As I began reminiscing on the class of 2008's high school experience, I started to think of all the funny and hilarious decisions the Washington Board of Education involved us in. However, I found it extremely difficult to pinpoint my favorite, the one event that made me chuckle and made me blossom into the outstanding student I am today. So, I began with the culminating project. Personally, I can't think of anything more funny than spending the entirety of your senior year working on a multi-dimensional project, in addition to writing college applications, applying for scholarships, maintaining a 3.5 GPA, all while studying for the SAT. Those 12 ulcers the project gave me this year, those were pretty funny. What always intrigued me about the culminating project was the fact that the advisor to this escapade was the fun-loving choir teacher, Mr. Wisnitz. When this 5-part project was placed next to such a likable guy, it made the process that much easier. So if you would, please thank this man for his hard work and dedication. And seeing that every senior finished their project and had the ability to walk at this year's graduation. I knew my ears would come in handy one day. As my high school years unfolded, my mother, who I've already given 3 ulcers to, kept telling me, "Michael, you think this is hard? Just wait till you get out of high school and into the real world." Well, you know what, my fellow seniors? I really hope the real world doesn't resemble a laboratory environment full of guinea pigs. The many experiments the class of 2008 had to endure were trying, to say the least. We were the first class to have to take and then pass the Washington Assessment of Student Learning, a test designed to be taken at least 3 times before you can successfully pass it. Parents, if you will, imagine filling out your W-2 forms without TurboTax. The pain my fellow classmates and I felt, filling in bubbles on a standardized test for 2 weeks, was emotionally distressing. Do you realize how difficult it is to sit in silence for 3 hours without being able to use your cell phone? The teachers also had a great time preparing us for the WASL. Their jobs were relying on a bunch of angsty teenagers, people who are far more concerned with their MySpace comments rather than their own grades. Additionally, they were given the opportunity to extensively revise their curriculum to fit the WASL requirements. Think of it as redecorating academically, except your spouse is forcing you to do it. These men and women are skilled in teaching, listening, and identifying whether a student really has to use the restroom or not. This sixth sense is a crucial skill in the educative and parental world. Please, audience and students, give these outstanding men and women a round of applause for their academic. In the process of all these changes, the board also dealt a blow to some of our dearest friends. I've met a lot of people at Squall, but these individuals really shaped my life for the better. They were brown, sometimes white, and always covered in chunks. I am just remembering how round they were too. I'm talking about those pancake-sized, trans-fat-induced cookies we used to have available at break. They were loved by most everyone at the school, and maybe a little too much by some. Sure, there were over 800 calories, but indulging in these treats made us forget about the foul abominations cooked up in the 50s diner. The food suppliers do a remarkable job of living up to the 50s diner name. Every soggy chicken finger, scoop of watered-down mashed potatoes, and partially cooked teriyaki strip is guaranteed to have been packaged before the year 1960. This is the same food that some of the grandparents and parents grew up with in the audience. Real home-cooked meals. After watching a dozen episodes of Leave It to Beaver, I've never seen the family sit down to enjoy prefabricated grade D meat, ribwich sandwiches, smothered in barbecue sauce, alongside greasy JoJo potatoes. I'm sure the Cleavers are rolling over in their grave just listening to this. The lunch ladies shouldn't be condemned for their work, however. I can't imagine how difficult it was for them to turn the food from abysmal to mediocre. Plus, we ate it, and everyone is still here. So please thank the lunch ladies in the house who are always nice enough to let me charge. We're always nice enough to let you charge we didn't have enough money and smiled at you when you made some cynical comment about the food. Now, if you're hearing all that I've told you, I'm sure you understand the significance of our class chant, "Don't Hate 08," which I would like to add is significantly more original than the school board's motto, "You shall not pass!" It's a shock to me that after all this experimentation on our graduating class, we weren't compelled to fling poop at our captors, like other caged guinea pigs generally do. There were a few attempts to boycott the Wassel and protest the culminating project, but they all ended in vain. I believe the term, survival of the fittest, one of the only concepts I can remember from biology, applies to our class. Because of all the obstacles and hardships we encountered, we are the strongest, most resilient guinea pigs in Swamp history. Our principal, Dr. Engel, was also caught in the crossfire of these changes during his 4-year stay with our class. He mentioned to me before the ceremony that he's currently working on a novel entitled Dr. Engel and the Guinea Pigs of Swalcombe High School. As we leave this institution and venture out into the overly used metaphor known as the highway of life, our education will be put to the test. Will we be asked to show our Wassel scores when we apply for a student loan? Will our culminating projects be used for a resume or for a bookend? Will we ever look at food the same way again? Will our life be defined by what we achieved in these 4 years? These are questions that I do not know the answers to, but what I anticipate is this. Hopefully, our physical education classes will prevent us guinea pigs from being run over by a Chevy Tahoe. Thank you, parents, for being more caring owners than the Washington Board of Education. We couldn't have made it without your love and support. It's been a great 4 years class of 2008, and I am honored to have been probed in the same cage as all of you. Thank you.
Well, that's going to change my speech. Thank you, Michael.